So I just put out a song called Movie Night. This is a song that I wrote back in 2012. One of my favorite songs I've ever written. And it's a song about like young love and being in a moment that is so unreal. You can't believe it's actually happening, that you're like, I don't think this is ever gonna happen again. Was never gonna happen again. So I've been dabbling with Suno now for like the last half a year at this point. At first I was very kind of like standoffish with it. And then when I found out that you can like upload your own track and it would like remix it or cover it, therefore make a version of that song using the capabilities that it has to redo the guitar tracks, drum tracks, bass tracks, vocal tracks, whatever, I got very intrigued. I believe there's moments in your life that stay eternally, and there's such amazing stories that Spielberg and his team were killed to buy the rights of them all. And when the credits roll, the audience will stand with the applause they roar, while heading to the exits they say, oh my god, I wish that could be my life. But once I ran it through Suno, I got these stems. Now you, if you have the pro version of Suno, can download stems. This 8-track version that has lead vocals, backing vocals, drums, bass, guitar, keyboard, percussion, synth. And then what I did was I opened up my old session and I kept my original vocals that I sang back in 2012, added new effects to it from like Lander and all that kind of stuff, added a new piano track because it did some piano stuff, but I've been playing piano my entire life. And so I redid the piano because I just thought I could do a better job than what Suno did. And I'm using the Grandeur from Contact, which is my absolute favorite piano sound ever. And I put this song together. I believe there's moments in your life that stay eternally, and there's such amazing stories that Spielberg and his team were killed to buy the rights of them all. And when the credits roll, the audience will stand and with applause they roar, while heading to the exits they say, oh my god, I wish that could be my life. And so for me, tools like that are invaluable. For me personally, it took me a while to get to the point where I was okay doing what I was doing, because at first I thought I was cheating. But I reached out to my brother-in-law, who's an artist, and he said something that stuck with me, which is, as long as you use it as a tool and it's not replacing the process for you, then no. And it got me thinking, like, what were people's feelings when auto-tune came out? What were people's feelings when quantizing came out? What were people's feelings when digital audio production came out? What were people's feelings when backing tracks started getting used? When using auto-tune live was being used? To people lip syncing? To people doing all of that stuff? Not to say that all of those things are okay, or not to say that all of those things should be normalized. However, they are used prevalently in the music industry. I started thinking to myself, hey, I have a bunch of songs that I've written in the past that either don't have good production quality because I didn't know how to produce back then, or, like, to be frank, I wasn't a great singer, so I didn't do a good vocal performance when I recorded them originally. So I'm very curious what those songs that I worked on in the past would sound like in 2026 standards. So I'll go into Create, hit Audio, hit Upload, and then find my track. So I'm going to upload this song, hit Save. I'm going to cover this, hit Continue, and I'm going to let this do its thing. Now, here's a pro tip. If you have songs that have lyrics in it and you don't want to rewrite the lyrics here and you want it to auto-populate, then what you can do is leave the page and then come back in a minute or so. And when you go back to that page, that song will now have the lyrics all written here. And then I don't really mess with like the styles. I don't mess with any of this stuff. I mean, I can go in here and say, like, make it more weird, get the style, audio influence, blah, blah, blah. I actually like to make the audio influence loose because, like I said, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, my production style wasn't great. I was just getting a grasp of Pro Tools. I hadn't gone to a professional recording school to learn how to record, none of that. But it'll now spit out 2 versions of this song that I recorded back in the day. Okay, so it has like full production behind it. So it has drums, bass, guitars, vocals, the whole 9, piano, etc. And so for me, tools like that are invaluable. The same as auto-tune. Auto-tune made T-Pain's career, number one, revitalized Cher's career, and those are extreme examples. But I would be hard-pressed for you to find a recording that doesn't have auto-tune or a variation of it where It is just correcting the pitch of the vocalist just a little bit, where it still sounds natural, but it's not like hard hitting the notes exactly where they need to be. These things exist. Quantizing, does it make the recording better or not? If you're recording a hard rock or a garage rock record, then no, you're kind of losing the soul of the music. If you're quantizing the drums, auto-tuning the vocals, quantizing the bass and the guitars and everything for it to be like exactly perfect. No, there's beauty in the messiness of making a rock record. But if you're making a pop record, if you're making an EDM record, you're quantizing, you're auto-tuning, and no one's complaining about it. And you can say that it's not music. It is music. Absolutely, it's music. It has melody, it has chord structure. It's music. And people pay money to go see it live. Even if it's a DJ just sitting there going like this. People are still going to witness these things. This was a lot of fun for me to put together because it just made doing this and placing this together so much fun. And it makes an argument, in my opinion, about like how AI can help us with our recordings. Let's say, for example, I made this entire song, but for some reason I couldn't nail the drums, okay? I just couldn't figure out what drum pattern to put in there or anything like that. And I don't have the budget to hire a drummer or anything like that. I am a solo independent musician, singer, songwriter, producer. But I can't figure out the drum tracks. And instead of painstakingly sitting here for 40 hours, 80 hours, a week, 2 weeks, trying to figure out the drum tracks, I can upload the song to Suno and it could spit out 2 variations of drum tracks or variations of the song that have drum tracks in it where I go, oh, I could be doing that there. Those drum tracks make sense now. That fill makes sense there. And to me, that's no different than like using Logic's auto drummer feature. That to me is the exact same thing. So anyways, that is me putting this recording together of Movie Night. If you want to check it out, I will leave a link down below. Let me know what you think. Thanks.